Danny Cooper locked the main door of his repair shop and checked the security panel one last time. The station's artificial lights had dimmed to simulate night cycle, and most of the merchants had already closed their businesses. He wiped the grease from his hands with an old cloth and tossed it onto his workbench. The sound came from somewhere near the waste disposal area, a soft scraping, like metal against metal. Danny paused and listened. New Dakota Station usually went quiet during night cycle, and unusual sounds meant trouble. He grabbed a heavy wrench from his tool rack and walked toward the back alley between the docking bays. The smell hit him first. Rotting food and industrial chemicals mixed together in the warm air. Danny covered his nose and squinted into the shadows. Something moved behind the large disposal container, something small. "Station security," Danny called out, keeping his voice steady. "Come out where I can see you." The movement stopped. For a moment, everything went silent except for the low hum of the station's life support systems. Then a tiny figure emerged from behind the container, stumbling slightly as it moved into the dim light. Danny lowered the wrench. It was a child, an alien child, but still just a child. She was small, maybe the size of a human 7-year-old. Her skin had a silver-blue color that looked dull and unhealthy. Her large eyes, dark as space itself, stared at him with a mixture of fear and desperation. She wore torn clothing that might have been expensive once, and her thin arms clutched a half-eaten ration pack against her chest. Danny recognized her species immediately. The warrior race that most of the galaxy feared and respected. They were known as elite fighters and assassins, trained from birth to be perfect killers. But this one looked nothing like the dangerous soldiers he had heard about. She looked scared and starving. "Hey," Danny said softly, setting the wrench down on a nearby crate. "It's okay, I'm not going to hurt you." The child took a step backward, her legs shaking. She said something in a language Danny didn't understand, her voice barely above a whisper. "Do you speak Galactic Common?" Danny asked, switching to the universal trade language that most species used. "Little bit," the child said, her accent thick and uncertain. "Please, I go now." She tried to walk past him, but her legs gave out. Danny caught her before she hit the ground. She weighed almost nothing, and he could feel her bones through the thin fabric of her clothing. Up close, he could see the network of old scars on her arms and neck, training scars. Someone had been teaching this child how to fight. "When did you last eat?" Danny asked, carrying her toward his shop. "3 days," she whispered. "Maybe 4, I not remember." Danny's jaw tightened. 3 or 4 days without food for a child this size. No wonder she had been digging through the trash. He pushed open his shop door and set her down gently on his old couch in the corner of the workshop. "Stay here," he said. "I'll get you some real food." The child nodded, too weak to argue. Danny went to his small storage locker where he kept emergency supplies. He pulled out protein bars, dried fruit, and a container of soup he had been saving. He heated the soup in his old food processor and brought everything over to the couch. The child's eyes went wide when she saw the food. She grabbed the protein bar and tore into it like a starving animal, barely chewing before swallowing. Danny had seen hungry people before during his time in the military, but this was different. This was systematic starvation, not just missing a few meals. "Slow down," Danny said gently. "You'll make yourself sick." She didn't slow down. She finished the protein bar and immediately reached for the soup. Danny watched as she drank it straight from the container, burning her mouth but not caring. When she finally finished, she looked up at him with those dark eyes, and for the first time, there was something other than fear in them. "Thank you," she said in common. "You are kind human." "What's your name?" Danny asked, sitting down in his work chair across from her. She said quietly, "My name is—" "I'm Danny Cooper. How did you end up here? Where's your family?" The fear came back into her eyes immediately. She looked at the door, then back at Danny, as if trying to decide whether to run or stay. I cannot say, said, is dangerous for you and for me. Danny leaned forward, keeping his voice calm. You've been hiding on this station for days, going through trash for food. Whatever you're running from, it can't be worse than starving to death. Was quiet for a long moment. Danny could see her thinking, weighing her options. Finally, she spoke, her voice so soft he almost couldn't hear her. I run from my people, she said, from my duty. What duty? Danny asked. I was trained since baby, explained, her comment getting better as she relaxed slightly. Trained to be assassin, to kill for the Empire. All children in warrior families must train, must be perfect. Danny felt something cold settle in his stomach. He had heard stories about training methods, but he had always hoped they were exaggerated. Looking at this small, scared child covered in training scars, he realized the stories might have been too kind. And you ran away from that? Danny asked. Nodded. They gave me first mission, first kill to prove I am worthy. I went to Target House. Human family on border world, diplomats, they had children. She stopped talking, her whole body starting to shake. Danny waited, giving her time. The children were my age, continued. They were playing game, laughing. I watched them through window for a long time. I was supposed to kill family while they sleep, but I could not do it. I could not kill the children, so I ran. Danny closed his eyes for a moment, trying to process what she was telling him. This child had been sent to murder a family, had chosen mercy instead, and now she was being hunted for it. How long have you been running? Danny asked. 5 weeks, said. I stole transport ship, crashed it on mining moon, hid in cargo containers, made it here 3 days ago, but they are coming, they always come. Who's coming? Danny asked, though he already knew the answer. Retrieval team, said. Or maybe just her, my mother. She is best tracker in our clan, best assassin. They send her to find failures like me, to bring us back for correction. The way she said the word correction made Danny's blood run cold. What happens if she finds you? Danny asked. Look down at her hands. She will take me back. They will punish me for failure. They will fix my weakness, or they will kill me if I cannot be fixed. Do not accept failure. Danny stood up and walked to his window, looking out at the quiet station corridors. He had left the military 5 years ago because he was tired of violence and death. He had come to this frontier station to live a quiet life, fixing ships and staying out of trouble. Getting involved with a runaway child would be the exact opposite of staying out of trouble. But looking back at, sitting on his couch with soup still on her chin, looking more like a lost puppy than a trained assassin, Danny knew he couldn't just turn her away. Okay, Danny said, making his decision. You can stay here tonight. We'll figure out the rest tomorrow. You will hide me? Asked, surprise clear in her voice. Why? You do not know me. This will bring you danger. Danny shrugged. Where I come from, we don't let children starve in alleys. We especially don't let them get dragged back to people who want to hurt them. For the first time since he had found her, smiled. It was a small, uncertain smile, but it was real. Humans are strange, she said. Yeah, Danny agreed. We get that a lot. He set up a sleeping area for her in the back room of his shop, giving her clean blankets and a pillow. She was asleep within minutes, exhausted from days of running and hiding. Danny sat at his workbench, staring at his security monitors and thinking about what he had just gotten himself into. That was when he noticed it. A small device attached to the collar of his torn shirt, no bigger than his thumbnail. He carefully removed it while she slept and examined it under his. His heart sank as he recognized the technology. It was a tracking device, a very sophisticated tracking device. Danny looked at the device in his hand, then at the sleeping child, then back at his security monitors. His station alert system suddenly blinked red. Unauthorized entry, docking bay 7, single female. She was already here. Danny watched the security feed with growing dread. The woman moved through the station like a shadow, her steps precise and purposeful. She was tall, at least 6.5 feet, with the same silver-blue skin as but deeper and healthier. She wore dark tactical clothing that seemed to shift and blend with her surroundings, and even through the low-quality security camera, Danny could see the weapons strapped to her body. This had to be Smother the Hunter. Danny looked down at the tracking device in his hand. It was still active, still sending out its signal. He had maybe minutes before she pinpointed the exact location. He needed to think fast. He grabbed his toolkit and went to work on the device. His hands, trained from years of military engineering, moved quickly and precisely. He couldn't just destroy it because that would alert whoever was monitoring the signal. Instead, he carefully accessed its programming and created a loop, making the signal bounce between multiple relay points throughout the station. It wouldn't fool anyone for long, but it might buy him enough time to figure out what to do. In the back room, slept on, her small chest rising and falling with steady breaths. Danny looked at her peaceful face and felt anger burn in his chest. What kind of society trained children to be killers and then hunted them down when they showed basic decency? His communication panel buzzed. Danny checked the caller ID and saw it was Greg, one of his regular customers who ran a parts shop 3 levels down. "Danny, you still awake?" Greg's voice came through, sounding nervous. "Yeah, what's up?" Danny asked, keeping his voice low. "There's a woman going through the station, asking questions about a child," Greg said. "She's being polite about it, but man, she's scary. Thought you should know since you work late sometimes." "What kind of questions?" Danny asked. "Asking if anyone's seen a young, if any kids have been spotted alone, that kind of thing. She showed me a picture. Cute kid, but I told her I hadn't seen anything. The way she moves, Danny, it's like watching a predator. I've been around a lot of species, but are something else." "Thanks for the heads up," Danny said. "I'll keep my doors locked." "You do that. This lady looks like she could cut through a locked door without breaking a sweat." Danny ended the call and checked his security feed again. Had moved to the merchant district, 3 corridors away from his shop. She was working systematically, starting from the docking bay and moving outward in a search pattern, professional, efficient, relentless. He had seen military hunters before during his service. He had even trained with a few. But watching work, he realized she was on a completely different level. She wasn't just following a trail. She was thinking several steps ahead, eliminating possibilities, narrowing down the search area with mathematical precision. Danny pulled up a map of the station on his computer and started plotting false signal points for the tracking device. If he was going to fool her, he needed to make it believable. He set up signals in the cargo holds, the maintenance tunnels, the commercial district, anywhere a scared child might hide. The tracking device would ping from multiple locations, creating a web of possible positions instead of one clear target. As he worked, he heard stir in the back room. She appeared in the doorway, rubbing her eyes and looking around with confusion. "Bad dream," she said quietly. "I thought I was back in training facility." "You're safe," Danny said, though he wasn't sure if that was true anymore. "Come here for a second." Walked over and Danny showed her the tracking device. Her eyes went wide with horror. "It was in my clothes," Danny explained. "This is how they've been following you." "They always put trackers in us," said her voice hollow. "In case we try to run. I checked my clothes before, but I missed it. I am stupid." "You're not stupid," Danny said firmly. "You're 7 years old and you've been running for your life. You did better than most adults would." "My mother is here?" asked, fear making her voice shake. "I think so," Danny said. "A woman is searching the station, has to be her." Sat down on the floor, pulling her knees to her chest. "She will find us. She always finds her targets. She has never failed a mission. That is why they sent her." Danny studied the child's face, seeing the absolute certainty there. Believed her mother was unstoppable. Maybe she was right. But Danny hadn't survived 5 years of military service by giving up when things looked bad. "Tell me about her," Danny said. "Tell me about your mother." was quiet for a moment, thinking. She is perfect warrior, fast, strong, smart. She can track anything across any terrain. She has killed more than 300 targets in her career. Other assassins fear her. Other clans respect her. That's what she does, Danny said. But who is she? Before all the training and killing, who was she? Looked confused by the question. She is assassin. That is all she needs to be. No, Danny said. She's also a mother. She had you. She raised you. There had to be moments when she was just your mom, not an assassin. Thought about this, her young face struggling with the concept. Sometimes, she said slowly, when I was very small before intensive training started, she would tell me stories, old legends about heroes and honor. She would use different voice for each character, make me laugh. See, Danny said, that's the person we need to reach, not the assassin but the mother. That person is gone, said. The Empire does not allow it. Weakness is not tolerated. Love is weakness. Danny shook his head. Love isn't weakness. Love is what made you spare those children. Love is strength that your empire doesn't understand. Before could respond, Danny's security system alerted him again, had moved to his corridor. She was checking each shop, each storage unit, each possible hiding place. She would reach his door in less than 10 minutes. I need you to trust me, Danny said to. Can you do that? Looked up at him with those dark eyes, searching his face for something. Finally, she nodded. Good, Danny said. Hide in the back room in the storage locker behind the old engine parts. Don't come out no matter what you hear unless I specifically call for you. Understand? What will you do? Asked. I'm going to talk to your mother, Danny said. She will kill you, said simply. If you stand between her and her mission, she will kill you without hesitation. Maybe, Danny admitted, but I've talked my way out of worse situations. Sometimes the right words are more powerful than weapons. Stood up and surprised Danny by hugging him quickly before running to the back room. You are strange human, she called back. But you are good human, thank you. Danny waited until he heard her safely hidden in the storage locker. Then he took a deep breath and did something that was either very brave or very stupid. He unlocked his shop door and left it slightly open. An invitation. He sat at his workbench, forcing himself to look relaxed, and waited. The security camera showed finishing her search of the shop next door. She paused at his doorway, her head tilting slightly as if sensing something. Then she pushed the door open and stepped inside. Up close, she was even more intimidating than on the security feed. She moved with the fluid grace of a trained dancer, but there was coiled violence in every movement. Her eyes, the same dark color as, scanned the room in seconds, cataloging every detail, every potential threat, every possible hiding place. You are Danny Cooper, she said in perfect galactic common. It wasn't a question. You work alone. Former military Human Defense Fleet Engineering Corps, 5 years of service, clean record, no family, no close friends. You are considered reliable but antisocial by station residents. Danny kept his expression neutral, though his heart was pounding. You've done your homework. Should I be flattered or worried? I am looking for a child, said, ignoring his question. She is sick and confused. She needs medical attention and should be returned to her family. Haven't seen any kids, Danny said, meeting her eyes. Just the usual station traffic. Merchants, traders, the occasional tourist. Moved closer, and Danny fought the urge to back away. She studied his face with an intensity that felt like being examined under a microscope. You are lying, she said calmly. Your heart rate increased, your pupils dilated slightly, your breathing pattern changed. These are signs of deception. These are signs of being nervous around someone who looks like they could snap me in half, Danny countered. No offense, but your people have a reputation. The child is in danger, said, her voice taking on an edge. She has been exposed to harmful ideas. She needs to be corrected before permanent damage occurs. I am trying to help her. Corrected, Danny repeated. That's an interesting word choice. What exactly does correction involve? Something flickered in his eyes. Anger, frustration. It was gone too quickly for Danny to identify. That is not your concern, said. If you have seen the child, you must tell me. Interfering with internal matters is illegal under galactic law. It could also be fatal for you. Danny stood up slowly, keeping his hands visible. Let me ask you something. If your daughter showed mercy to innocent children, if she chose compassion over killing, would you really punish her for that? Would you hurt your own child for being kind? His hand moved to a weapon on her belt, fast as lightning. How do you know she is my daughter? Lucky guess, Danny said, though his mouth had gone dry. The way you talk about her, the desperation under all that professional coldness. You're not just a hunter tracking a target. You're a mother looking for her child. For a long moment they stared at each other. The only sound was the hum of the station systems and Danny's too loud heartbeat. Then spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. You do not understand our ways, you cannot understand. The Empire's laws are absolute. Failure is not tolerated. Mercy is weakness. If I do not bring her back, we will both be executed. Then don't take her back, Danny said, moved faster than Danny could track. One moment she was standing near the door, the next she had him pinned against the wall with a blade at his throat. The cold metal pressed against his skin, and he could feel a thin line of blood starting to trickle down his neck. You know nothing, hissed, her face inches from his. You are a foolish human who thinks your naive beliefs apply to the entire galaxy. You risk your life for a child you do not know, from a species you do not understand. You're right, Danny said, forcing himself to stay calm despite the blade. I don't understand your culture, but I understand that your hand is shaking. His eyes widened slightly. She looked down at her hand, at the blade pressed to Danny's throat, and saw the tiny tremor running through it. She stepped back quickly, lowering the weapon but not sheathing it. Where is she? Demanded. Safe, Danny said, touching his neck and checking the blood. It was just a scratch. And before you tear this place apart looking for her, maybe you should ask yourself what you'll do when you find her. I will complete my mission, said, but there was something hollow in her voice now. No, Danny said. I mean, what will you actually do? Will you look your daughter in the eye and drag her back to be punished for choosing mercy? Will you watch while they break whatever goodness is left in her? Or will you be the one to do it yourself? His jaw tightened. You think your words will change anything. I have my duty. Duty to what? Danny pressed. To an empire that sees children as weapons, to a culture that punishes kindness. Your daughter chose not to kill innocent people and you're hunting her down for it. Where I come from, we call that wrong. Where you come from, you are weak, snapped. Your species survives because you hide behind treaties and alliances. You have no warrior tradition, no understanding of strength. Maybe, Danny agreed. But we also don't train 7-year-olds to be assassins. We don't hunt our own children when they show basic human decency. Well, not human in your daughter's case, but you know what I mean. She is not showing decency, said. She is showing failure, weakness, an inability to complete her assigned role. She's showing growth, Danny countered. Evolution, the ability to think beyond what she was programmed to do. That's not weakness, that's strength of a different kind. Turned away from him, and for the first time since entering his shop, she looked uncertain. You do not understand the consequences. If I return without her, my entire family line will be dishonored. My clan will be stripped of rank, and we will both be executed as examples to others who might consider similar betrayal. Then don't go back, Danny said again. Spun around, her expression almost angry. Where would we go? The Empire spans a third of known space. Their reach is long, their memory longer. There is nowhere in the galaxy we could hide. Human space, Danny said simply. We don't extradite people to governments that execute children for showing mercy. It's against our laws. Human space, repeated, and there was contempt in her voice. "You would protect us, you who cannot even protect yourselves without hiding behind your alliances." "We protect what matters," Danny said. "Even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous, that's what makes us human." Before could respond, a small voice came from the back room. Mama stood in the doorway of the storage area, her small frame seeming even tinier next to the towering figures of the two adults. Tears streamed down her face, and she was shaking. "No," Danny started, but the child ignored him. "Mama, please," said in her own language, then switched to common when she remembered Danny was there. "I am sorry. I am sorry I failed. I am sorry I am weak, but I could not kill them. They were children. They were playing. They were happy." Stood frozen, staring at her daughter. The blade slipped from her hand and clattered on the floor. Her whole body seemed to sag, as if a great weight had suddenly been placed on her shoulders. "I tried to be strong like you," continued, walking slowly toward her mother. "I tried to be perfect, but when I saw the human children, I saw myself. I saw what I could have been if I was not born into warrior clan. I saw childhood, real childhood, not training, not pain, not learning to kill, just playing and laughing and being safe." Said, and her voice cracked on the name. "You do not understand what you have done, what you have thrown away." "I understand," said, stopping a few feet from her mother. "I have thrown away chance to be killer, chance to be like you. But Mama, I do not want to be killer. I want to be something else, something better." "There is nothing better," said, but the words sounded automatic now, like a prayer repeated so many times it had lost all meaning. "Service to the Empire is the highest honor." "Is it honor to kill children?" asked. "Is it honor to punish daughter for being kind? Is it honor to follow orders that make you shake when you hold weapon to good person?" Looked at Danny, then back at, "How long have you been listening?" "Long enough," said. "Long enough to hear you talk about consequences, about execution, about failure. But I did not hear you say you want to hurt me. I did not hear you say I deserve punishment. I heard mother who is afraid." "I am not afraid," said automatically. "Do not fear." "You are lying," said simply. "I can see it. You taught me to read body language, to see truth under lies. You are afraid, Mama, not of empire, not of consequences. You are afraid of losing me, afraid of what you might have to do." Danny watched the exchange, barely breathing. He could see internal struggle playing out on her face. Centuries of cultural conditioning fighting against maternal instinct. The perfect assassin crumbling under the weight of her daughter's simple honesty. "When you were born," said suddenly, her voice quiet, "I held you in my arms and I thought you were perfect. So small, so fragile. They took you from me after 3 days, said it was time to begin evaluation, time to start your path. I was not supposed to hold you at all. It showed weakness. But I did anyway. For 3 days I held you and sang old songs my mother sang to me before she was killed in service." His eyes widened. "You never told me this." "Because it was weakness," said. "Because love is weakness. Because the moment I held you I became compromised. Every mission after that, every target, I thought about you. Wondered if they had mothers who held them, sang to them, loved them." She laughed bitterly. "I became everything I was taught not to be. I became weak." "No," Danny said firmly. Both turned to look at him. "You became human. Not human as in my species, but human as in having humanity, having compassion, having doubt. That's not weakness, that's evolution." "Evolution that will get us both killed," said. "Maybe," Danny admitted. "Or maybe it's evolution that will save you both. Look, I'm just a mechanic who fixes broken ships. I don't know anything about your empire or your warrior codes, but I know that what you're feeling right now, that's not weakness. That's love. And love is the strongest thing there is." "Love cannot stop assassin squads," said. "Love cannot rewrite imperial law. Love cannot change thousands of years of tradition." "No," Danny agreed. "But love can make you choose different path. It can make you step off the road you were forced onto and find your own way." Looked at again. Really looked at her, not as a failed trainee or a mission objective, but as her daughter. "If I do not return with you," she said slowly, "they will send others, most likely. He is second best tracker in our clan. He will not hesitate. He will not question. He will simply complete the mission." "Then we need to make sure he cannot find us," Danny said. "Human space is big. There are colony worlds on the rim that don't even show up on most maps, places where people go to disappear." "I am elite assassin," said. "What would I do on colony world?" "Whatever you want," Danny said. "That's the point of freedom, you get to choose." "I have never chosen anything," said quietly. "My entire life has been dictated by others, training schedules, mission assignments. Even my mating was arranged to produce optimal offspring for warrior caste." "Then maybe it is time to choose," said, taking her mother's hand. "Choose me, Mama, choose us, choose different life." Stood there, her daughter's small hand in hers, and Danny could see the exact moment when something inside her broke and reformed into something new. She pulled into a tight embrace, holding her like she had when she was 3 days old, and for the first time since entering the shop, she looked like a mother instead of a hunter. "I choose you," whispered. "I choose us, I choose freedom." The moment was shattered by the blaring of station alarms. Danny ran to his security console and felt his heart sink. 5 ships had just entered the system, large ones, military class. "Retrieval team," said, her voice going cold and professional again. "They must have monitored my communications, suspected I might be compromised." "How long do we have?" Danny asked. "Maybe an hour before they dock," said. "Less if they suspect resistance." "Then we need to move fast," Danny said. "I have a ship. It's not much, but it's fast and the engines are solid." "They will scan for life signs," said. "They will find us before we can leave the system." "Not if station security helps us," Danny said, reaching for his communicator. "I have a friend who owes me a favor." "1 human and 2 against retrieval team," said. "The odds are not good." "Yeah," Danny said, pulling up his contact list. "But we're not trying to fight them. We're just trying to run. And humans are really good at surviving when the odds are bad. It's kind of our thing." Danny's call connected just as the first ship began docking procedures. Helen Grant's face appeared on the screen, her expression already annoyed before he even spoke. "Danny, this better be good," Helen said. "We've got 5 unauthorized military vessels demanding docking clearance, and I've got a diplomatic incident brewing." "Helen, I need help," Danny said quickly. "I'm harboring a child seeking asylum. Her mother is here with me. The retrieval team is here to kill them both." Helen's expression went from annoyed to shocked to carefully neutral in the space of 3 seconds. "Danny, tell me you're joking." "I wish I was," Danny said. "The child refused an assassination mission because she didn't want to kill innocent kids. Now her own people want her dead for failure. Human law protects refugees from persecution, right?" "Yes, but aren't typically refugees," Helen said, rubbing her temples. "They're usually the ones people are fleeing from. Danny, do you have any idea what kind of situation you've created?" "A complicated one," Danny admitted. "But the law is the law. These 2 are asking for asylum. That means something." Helen was quiet for a moment, thinking. Danny could see her running through procedures and regulations in her head, weighing options and consequences. "Bring them to Security Station 3, she finally said. "We'll process an asylum claim. But Danny, I need you to understand something. If this goes badly, if they decide to push the issue, they could attack the station. We're talking about thousands of lives at risk." "I know," Danny said, "but we can't just hand over a child to be executed. That's not who we are." "No," Helen agreed with a sigh. "It's not. Get here fast, and Danny, stay safe." The connection ended. Danny grabbed his emergency bag and turned to Anne. "We need to move now. Security Station 3 is across the station. If we're fast, we can get there before the retrieval team finishes docking." Shook her head. "They will have already deployed scouts. Standard protocol is to send advanced team ahead of main force. They are likely already on the station. As if to prove her point, Danny's security system detected movement in the corridor outside. 3 figures in tactical gear, moving with military precision. They were doing a sweep, checking every shop, every possible hiding place. "We're trapped," Danny said. "Not trapped," said her assassin training taking over. "Just contained. There is difference, follow me." She moved to the back of Danny's shop, to a maintenance panel he used for accessing the station's internal systems. She pulled it open and revealed the narrow service tunnel beyond. "These tunnels connect all sections of station. I studied layouts when I arrived." "Of course you did," Danny muttered. "You go first, stay close to, I'll bring up the rear." They climbed into the tunnel one by one. The space was cramped and dark, lit only by occasional emergency lights. Danny could hear the sounds of the station all around them, the hum of life support, the gurgle of water recycling, the distant voices of people going about their daily lives, unaware of the danger. "Station security reports 3 operatives demanding to search private property." Helen's voice came through Danny's communicator. "I'm stalling them, but they're invoking Imperial jurisdiction clauses. Danny, where are you?" "Maintenance tunnels," Danny whispered, "taking the long route." "Smart," Helen said, "but the retrieval team commander just contacted me. His name is. He's demanding we hand over what he calls stolen property. Claims we're harboring Imperial assets." "Assets," Danny repeated, looking at small form crawling through the tunnel ahead of him. "He's talking about a child like she's a piece of equipment. He also said that if we interfere with internal affairs, it could be considered an act of war," Helen continued. "Danny, I'm trying to help, but there are limits to what I can do. If this escalates, I'll have to follow orders from higher up." "I understand," Danny said. "Just give us as much time as you can." They crawled through the tunnels for what felt like hours but was probably only 20 minutes. Finally, stopped at another maintenance panel. She listened carefully, her enhanced hearing picking up sounds Danny couldn't detect, then carefully opened it. They emerged into a storage area near Security Station 3. Danny helped out of the tunnel, and she immediately pressed close to her mother's side, her earlier bravery giving way to fear now that the danger was real and immediate. "Almost there," Danny said. "Just one more corridor and we're at the security station." They moved quickly but carefully, trying to look casual despite their disheveled appearance. Other station residents gave them curious looks but didn't interfere. Danny was counting on human nature. People saw what they wanted to see, and most would rather not get involved in what looked like complicated trouble. They were 10 meters from the security station entrance when a voice called out behind them. "Of Clan, stop where you are." Danny turned to see a massive male blocking the corridor. He was even taller than, built like a tank, with scars that spoke of countless battles. His eyes were cold and empty, and he carried weapons that looked like they could punch through station walls. Said quietly, "I should have known they would send you." "You have brought shame to our clan," said in heavily accented common. "You were the best of us, the perfect weapon, and now you betray everything for what? A failed trainee, a weakness." "For my daughter," said, stepping in front of, "for her chance at a better life." "There is no better life than service to the Empire," said. He looked at Danny. "Human, step aside, this does not concern you." "It concerns me when someone threatens kids," Danny said, not moving. "These 2 are requesting asylum under human law. That makes them our responsibility." "They are," said. "They belong to the Empire. Your laws do not apply." "Actually, they do," Helen's voice came from the security station entrance. She stood there with a squad of armed security officers, all of them pointing weapons at. "This is human territory. Human laws apply to everyone here, including. These 2 have formally requested asylum. Under Intergalactic Refugee Protocol, we are obligated to process their claim." Refugees, said the word like it was poison. Warriors do not become refugees. They complete their missions or they die. There is no third option. There is now, Danny said. Human space offers a third option, freedom. His hand moved toward his weapon, and immediately every security officer tensed. The corridor filled with the electric tension of potential violence. Helen stepped forward, her hand raised. Think carefully, Helen said too. You're standing in human territory, surrounded by armed security with no legal authority to be here. If you draw that weapon, we will defend ourselves. That means shooting you. That means your mission fails. That means your death brings no honor to your clan. Is that what you want? For a long moment, stood frozen, weighing his options. Danny could see the calculation in his eyes. He was a warrior, trained to fight and win, but he was also smart enough to recognize a losing position. You hide behind your laws, finally said. You hide behind your weapons, but laws and weapons cannot protect you from the Empire's judgment, has betrayed us. The child has failed us. They are both declared non-persons, dead to the Empire. They have no clan, no honor, no home. They have us, Danny said. That's more than enough. His eyes narrowed. You are making mistake, human. The Empire's memory is long. This insult will not be forgotten. Good, Danny said. I hope they remember. I hope every who thinks about hunting children remembers that humans stood up and said no. Stared at Danny for a long moment, and there was something in his expression that might have been respect, or maybe just acknowledgement of an enemy. You think your compassion is strength, he said. You will learn otherwise. The galaxy is cruel. Kindness is weakness. Mercy is failure. No, spoke up suddenly, her small voice carrying clearly in the tense corridor. You are wrong. I have seen both ways. I have been trained in strength, and I have seen human kindness. The way made me afraid and alone. The human way made me safe and loved. I know which is stronger. Looked at the small child with something like pity. You are too young to understand what you have chosen. You have traded honor for comfort, glory for safety. You will regret this. Maybe, said, but I will be alive to regret it, and I will be free. That is worth everything. Turned his attention back to, you were the best of us. You could have led our clan to greatness. Now you are nothing, less than nothing. A failure who could not even complete the simple task of retrieving your own offspring. I am a mother who saved her child, said quietly. I am a warrior who chose the harder battle. Fighting an enemy is easy. Fighting yourself, fighting everything you were taught to believe, that is true strength. Weakness, spat. You have become weak, corrupted by human ideas. The Empire was right to send me. He reached into his armor and pulled out a small device. He pressed a button, and a holographic seal appeared above it, the official mark of the Empire. I, of clan, witnessed by these humans, declare of clan and of clan to be non-persons. They have no claim to identity. They have no protection of law. They are exiled, cast out, forgotten. Let this be recorded in imperial archives. The hologram pulsed once and vanished. It was official, and were no longer in the eyes of their people. They were nothing. Danny expected to see despair on his face, but instead he saw something else. Relief, like a great weight had been lifted from her shoulders. Then we are free, said softly, truly free. You are nothing, corrected. But yes, you are no longer our concern. The Empire has no interest in non-persons. He looked at Helen. Your laws protected them. Now they are your responsibility. Their crimes, their failures, their dishonor, all of it belongs to humanity now. We'll take that deal, Helen said. Now get off my station. Gave them all one last look of contempt, then turned and walked away. His heavy footsteps echoed through the corridor until he was gone. The security officers kept their weapons raised until he was completely out of sight, then slowly lowered them. Danny let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Is it over? He asked. The immediate danger is, Helen said. But Danny, I need you to understand what just happened. These two are now officially your responsibility. They have no legal identity, no citizenship, nothing. We need to process formal asylum claims, get them registered as human residents, and figure out where they're going to live. They can stay with me, Danny said immediately. I've got room, not much but enough. For now, Helen said, but long-term we need better solutions. She looked at, can you work? Do you have skills beyond combat? Thought for a moment. I can track. I can analyze threat patterns. I understand combat tactics better than anyone. I could teach your security forces, train them to defend against elite threats. A consultant position, Helen said thoughtfully. That could work. We're always looking for ways to improve station security, but no killing, no missions, just training and advising. Agreed, said, I am done with killing. Helen turned to, and you, young lady, will be enrolled in our station school. We've got good teachers and kids from a dozen different species. You'll fit right in. His eyes went wide. School, real school with other children. Real school, Helen confirmed with a smile, with recess and homework and all the normal kid stuff. Looked up at her mother, hope shining in her eyes. Placed a hand on her daughter's head, a gesture of affection that would have been forbidden in culture, and smiled. Yes, said, real school, normal life, everything I never had but always wanted for you. Danny watched the exchange and felt something warm bloom in his chest. This was what it was all about. This moment right here. A mother and daughter getting a chance at a real future, free from violence and fear. Welcome to human space, Danny said. It's messy and complicated, but it's home. 3 months had passed since the day declared and non-persons. 3 months since two had chosen freedom over honor, compassion over cruelty. Danny sat in his workshop, watching the security feeds out of habit more than necessity, and marveled at how much had changed. The workshop itself looked different now, had helped him reorganize the space, applying efficiency to his chaotic human storage system. Tools hung in precise arrangements. Parts were cataloged and labeled. Even his old couch had been replaced with something more comfortable. It was still his space, but it felt more like a home now. Through the window, Danny could see walking back from school with a group of human children. She was laughing at something one of them said, her silver-blue face bright with genuine joy. She carried a backpack covered in stickers and drawings, the universal mark of a happy child. It was hard to believe this was the same scared, starving girl he had found digging through trash 3 months ago. The door chimed and entered, carrying 2 containers of food from the station cafeteria. She had adapted to civilian life better than Danny had expected. She still moved with a warrior's grace, still scanned every room she entered for threats, but the constant tension had faded from her shoulders. She was learning to relax, slowly but surely. His teacher sent a message, said, setting the food down on Danny's desk. She says is doing well with her studies, top of her class in mathematics and spatial reasoning, also very popular with other students. She's a good kid, Danny said. Smart, funny, kind. Turns out when you don't train children to be killers, they develop personalities. Smiled slightly. It had taken her weeks to learn how to smile without it looking forced. It is strange, she said, watching her be normal, watching her play games and make friends and worry about homework instead of combat drills. Sometimes I wonder who she would have been if she had been born human. She wouldn't be, Danny said. Her experiences made her who she is. The good and the bad, you can't separate them. Wise words for a mechanic, said, sitting down across from him. I have my moments, Danny said with a grin. How was training today? Worked as a security consultant now, teaching station officers advanced threat assessment and defensive tactics. Helen had been skeptical at first, but skills were undeniable. Under her instruction, the station's security team had improved dramatically. They were faster, sharper, more aware. Productive, said. Your people learn quickly. They lack the physical conditioning of, but they compensate with creativity and adaptability. They think around problems instead of through them. It is effective in ways I did not expect. That's the human way, Danny said. We're not the strongest or the fastest. We just refuse to give up and we find creative solutions. Nodded thoughtfully. I am beginning to understand why the Empire views your species as dangerous, not because of your weapons or your military strength, but because of your ideas. You believe that individuals matter more than systems, that compassion is strength rather than weakness, that change is possible. These ideas are more dangerous to the Empire than any fleet. Is that why really let you go? Danny asked. Because taking you back would have meant bringing those ideas with you. Perhaps, said, or perhaps he simply saw no honor in forcing me to return. Culture values strength, and there is a certain strength in choosing exile over submission. He could not admit that publicly, but I think he understood. The door chimed again and burst in, full of energy and excitement. Danny, Mama, look what I made in art class. She held up a drawing, colorful and cheerful. It showed three figures, a tall female with blue skin, a smaller female with blue skin, and a human male. They stood in front of a building labeled home in childish handwriting. Above them she had drawn stars and written our family in both Galactic Common and English. Danny felt something catch in his throat. It's beautiful. Teacher said it shows good understanding of relationships and belonging, said proudly. She said family is not just blood. It is people who care for you and protect you and make you feel safe. That is you and Mama. Pulled her daughter into a hug, something that would have been unthinkable in culture but had become natural here. Your teacher is very wise, she said softly. Can I hang it in my room? Asked. Of course, Danny said. Your room needs more decoration anyway. Ran off to her small bedroom in the back of the workshop. Danny had converted a storage area into a proper room for her, complete with a real bed, a desk for homework, and shelves for the growing collection of books and toys she was accumulating. It wasn't fancy, but it was hers. She calls you Danny, observed. Not Mr. Cooper or Sir, just Danny. That's fine with me, Danny said. I'm not her father, I'm just someone who helps take care of her. You are more than that, said. You saved her life. You gave her a future. You protected her when her own people wanted her dead. In culture, that would create a life debt. She would be obligated to serve you. Good thing we're not following culture anymore, Danny said. She doesn't owe me anything. Neither do you. We're just people helping people. That's what humans do. Not all humans, pointed out. I have read your history. Your species is capable of great cruelty as well as great kindness. True, Danny admitted. We're complicated, we make mistakes, but we also try to learn from them. We try to be better. That's the important part. His communicator buzzed. Danny checked the message and frowned. It's from Helen. She wants to see us at the security office, says it's important. Trouble? Asked, immediately alert. Doesn't say, Danny said, but we should go check. They told they had to run an errand and headed to the security station. Helen was waiting for them in her office, and she wasn't alone. A human woman in military uniform sat across from her desk, studying a data pad with intense focus. Danny, this is Captain Lisa Monroe from the Human Defense Fleet, Helen said. She wanted to speak with you both. Captain Monroe stood and offered her hand. She was middle-aged with sharp eyes and the bearing of someone who had seen combat. Mr. Cooper, I've read your file. Impressive service record. You were one of our best engineers. That was a long time ago, Danny said carefully. Not that long, Monroe said, and your skills haven't diminished. What you did here, protecting these refugees, negotiating with it showed courage and quick thinking. She turned to, and you, the famous of clan, we've tracked your career for years. 300 confirmed kills, never failed a mission, until this one. I did not fail, said quietly. I succeeded. I saved my daughter. Exactly, Monroe said. You put family over duty. That takes a different kind of strength. She pulled up a holographic display. I'm here because your situation has attracted attention, not just on this station but throughout human space and beyond. The hologram showed news articles, forum discussions, and intelligence reports. All of them discussed the assassin who chose exile over killing her child. Some praised it as a triumph of compassion. Others criticized it as weakness. But everyone was talking about it. The story has spread, Monroe continued, and it's having an effect. We've received 3 more asylum requests from in the last month alone, all of them citing your case as precedent, all of them claiming they want out of the warrior system. Danny and exchanged glances. 3 more, Danny said, in just 3 months. 3 that we know of, Monroe said. There could be more. The Empire is furious, of course. They're calling it cultural contamination. They're claiming humans are deliberately undermining their society. We're not undermining anything, Danny said. We're just offering people a choice. That's exactly what they're afraid of, Monroe said. Choice is dangerous to authoritarian systems. When people realize they can choose differently, the whole structure starts to crack. What does this mean for us? Asked. Are we in danger? Not immediate danger, Monroe said. They won't violate human territory openly, but you've become symbols, examples of what's possible. That makes you valuable to us and dangerous to them. Valuable how? Danny asked suspiciously. We'd like to offer you both positions, Monroe said. Your skills as a trainer are already being noticed. We'd like to expand your role, have you work with our Special Forces units. Teach them combat techniques, threat assessment, psychological warfare. You'd be helping us defend against the very tactics you once used. And Danny, Helen asked. We want him to head up a new refugee program, Monroe said, specifically for people fleeing authoritarian regimes. He's already proven he can handle complex situations involving different cultures and legal systems. We need more people like him. Danny shook his head. I'm just a mechanic. I fix ships. I'm not qualified to run programs. You saved 2 lives and potentially sparked a movement, Monroe said. That's more than most qualified diplomats accomplish in their careers. You don't need credentials. You need compassion and courage. You have both. I need to think about this, Danny said. Take your time, Monroe said. But know that what you started here isn't over, it's just beginning. Other people are watching. Other people are hopping. You showed them that change is possible. That's powerful. After Monroe left, Danny sat in Helen's office, processing everything. Stood by the window, looking out at the station. We started something, said finally. Something bigger than just us. Yeah, Danny said. I guess we did. I wonder how many others are out there, continued. How many warriors who question the system? How many children who do not want to be assassins? How many parents who want better for their offspring? Probably more than the Empire wants to admit, Danny said. What will you tell Captain Monroe? Asked. Danny thought about it. He thought about his quiet life as a mechanic, his simple routine, his peaceful existence. Then he thought about drawing, about the word family written in a child's hand, about the possibility of helping more people find what she had found. I'll tell her yes, Danny said. I'll tell her I'll help, because you're right. This is bigger than us. And if we can help more people escape systems that hurt them, if we can give more kids a chance at normal childhood, then we have to try. Smiled. You are very human, Danny Cooper. You see one person in need and you cannot help but try to save everyone. Someone wise once told me that's not weakness, Danny said. That's strength of a different kind. They returned to the workshop to find had fallen asleep on the couch, her homework spread out around her, and her drawing clutched in one hand. Danny carefully moved the papers and covered her with a blanket. She is safe here, said softly. For first time in her life she is truly safe. That's the goal, Danny said. Safety, peace, chance to just be a kid, seems simple but apparently it's revolutionary. It is to the Empire, said, and maybe to others. Captain Monroe was right. We started something. We showed that individuals can choose differently, that systems can be challenged, that there is life beyond duty and honor and tradition. You think more will come? Danny asked. I am certain of it, said. Word spreads, stories travel. Right now, somewhere in space, there is another warrior who questions their path, another child who does not want to kill, another parent who loves their offspring more than they fear the Empire. And they will hear our story. They will know that escape is possible, that humans will protect them, that there is hope. Danny looked at the sleeping child, at the drawing of their unlikely family, at the workshop that had somehow become a home. He thought about Helen's words from 3 months ago. Their crimes, their failures, their dishonor, all of it belongs to humanity now. But it wasn't dishonor. It was courage. It was choosing love over hate, mercy over cruelty, hope over despair. And if that made them failures in the eyes of the Empire, then failure was something to be proud of. His communicator buzzed again. Another message, this time from an unknown sender. Danny opened it carefully, aware it could be a threat. Instead, he found a simple text message in broken galactic common. I hear story about mother who save child from Empire, about human who protect them. I have son. He failed training. They come for him tomorrow. Please help. Please tell me humans really protect refugees. Please say there is hope. Danny showed the message too. She read it and nodded slowly. It begins, she said. Yeah, Danny agreed. It begins. He typed a response. Yes, humans protect refugees. Yes, there is hope. Come to New Dakota Station. We will help you. He hit send and looked up at. I guess we're really doing this. Building a movement, helping people escape, changing the galaxy one family at a time. One family at a time, repeated. That is very human approach, not grand strategy, not military campaign, just helping whoever is in front of you, believing that small acts of kindness can add up to something bigger. You got a better plan? Danny asked. No, said with a smile. Your plan is good. It is strange and naive and completely impractical, but it is also brave and hopeful and right, very human. Stirred on the couch, mumbling something in her sleep about her friends at school. She was dreaming good dreams now, safe dreams, the kind of dreams children were supposed to have. Danny watched her peaceful face and felt certainty settle over him. This was what mattered, not empires or armies or galactic politics. Just this, a child sleeping safely, a mother who chose love over duty, and a mechanic who refused to look away from someone in need. Small moments, simple choices, human kindness in a galaxy that often forgot what kindness meant. The Empire measured worth in kills and conquests. They built their society on strength and honor and absolute obedience. They were ancient and powerful and feared throughout known space. But they had never faced anything like humanity's stubborn insistence that everyone deserved a second chance, that families mattered more than empires, that a child's laughter was worth more than a warrior's reputation, that sometimes the bravest thing you could do was simply choose to be kind. One scared girl digging through trash had started it all. One moment of compassion from a mechanic who couldn't stand to see a child go hungry. One mother's decision to choose her daughter over her culture. 3 simple choices that had rippled outward, touching lives across the galaxy, inspiring others to question and hope and dare to choose differently. The Empire could send their assassins. They could declare people non-persons. They could threaten and intimidate and try to maintain their grip on their warrior society. But they couldn't stop the spread of an idea. They couldn't prevent people from hopping for something better. They couldn't kill the belief that change was possible. Danny Cooper looked at the drawing one more time at the word family written in a child's unsteady hand and smiled. 3 months ago, he had been a lonely mechanic living a quiet life. Now he was part of something bigger, part of a family, part of a movement, part of proof that the galaxy could be better than it was. In a universe that measured worth by power and strength, humanity had introduced something revolutionary: the belief that everyone deserved a chance to be better than what they were born to be. That mercy was not weakness but the highest form of courage. That love could triumph over fear. And if that made humans dangerous to empires built on cruelty, then Danny would gladly be dangerous. He would gladly stand between children and those who wanted to hurt them. He would gladly offer hope to those who had none. He would gladly be part of humanity's strange, naive, completely impractical belief that kindness could change the galaxy. One family at a time. One choice at a time. One act of compassion at a time. Until the day when no child had to run from their own people, when no parent had to choose between their child and their culture, when mercy was recognized as strength and love as the most powerful force in the universe. That was the human way. And Danny Cooper, former military engineer turned refugee protector, wouldn't have it any other way.